Hello and welcome. We're discussing the impact that the new guidelines that have been given out by Maharashtra state government have on Mumbai's restaurant sector. India's financial capital, Mumbai, is facing its worst crisis. I'm Chaiti Narula, and today we're going to be discussing this as our top focus. One problem is due to the COVID-19 crisis, and the other is the economic impact due to the novel coronavirus, which is wreaking havoc in the maximum city as well as in the state. And just when the restaurant industry was getting back on its feet after last year's lockdown, the state government's decision of 8 p.m. to 7 a.m. night curfew has come like a death knell to the industry. Not just that, restaurants have been asked to shut down, much to the shock of the restaurateurs. Restaurant owners have said that this curfew would take away 80% of their businesses. Mumbai is the largest restaurant market in the country with over 87,000 outlets, both in the organized and unorganized sectors. Hotel and Restaurant Association Western India also has urged the state government to compensate employees and their families for the loss of income and also support hoteliers and restaurateurs by waiving all the statutory fees, taxes and the utility bills. Joining me on this broadcast is Pankaj Shah, Director of Neighbourhood Hospitality, Gauri Devidayal, the partner of Food Matters Group, Anurag Kartriyar, the President of National Restaurant Association of India, and we will soon be joined by Saransh Golia, who is a celebrity chef as well, requesting the producers to get Saransh on with us in just about a bit. But let me begin this conversation with Pankaj Shah. Pankaj, you've been very vocal about the new guidelines that have come in by the government. The marriages are allowed. You've got film shoots that take place. Public transport is on. Political rallies, as you can see, are taking place as well in other parts of the country, if not, of course, in Maharashtra. Then your question that you asked me offline was, why not restaurants? Because you all are functioning with social distancing norms, with all the COVID protocols in place. So if all of that can function, why not this? And that is your biggest concern, given the fact that you all took a very big hit in 2020. Just when you all thought there was light at the end of tunnel in 2021, these orders come as a rude shock.
No, absolutely, Chaiti. It has been a trying year for us. In 2020, we were shut from March till October in Mumbai. The rest of the country, restaurants were allowed to open in June. And, we were all there. We wanted to support the efforts made by the government to ensure that numbers don't rise. And we had to take some tough decisions as an industry, and we did that. October, we finally started seeing some hope. We started opening the restaurants, with under strict protocols, under strict controlled circumstances, 50% capacity seating, and it was good. Cases still continued decreasing, so we felt we were doing something right as an industry. They continued falling till February, and since February, March is when we're seeing a rise, which has gotten to an extremely frightening level at this stage.
Right. And, there's also a question about the tax rebate, which you all are not getting, the high liquor licenses with no revenue coming in. And I'm coming to that point because that's a very pertinent point. But let's get you a sense of what the problems are. As Pankaj rightly mentioned, there is a recovery coming from 8 months of shutdown. They cannot just afford another lockdown. And you heard it right from the horse's mouth from Pankaj. The revenues are hit. The losses are very high. Employees are losing jobs. Many, as you already know, have taken job cuts, but some of them are just losing jobs. The restaurants, which are the mom and pop shops, which are not a part of chains, are already shutting shop. The bigger chains, of course, can afford to hold fort for a little while longer. No tax rebate despite the lockdown. There is no respite in liquor license fee as well. I want to bring in Gauri on this one. Gauri, you're paying full liquor license. It is payable. There is no tax rebate coming in. How does this impact your revenue? How does this impact your bottom line? Is there an existential crisis, and do you think survival is going to be difficult?
I mean, absolutely. It's literally, survival is what's at stake right now. Our industry is one which is a very cash flow intensive industry, and we have to pay the complete license fee for the whole year by the 31st of March. With this looming sort of lockdown, we were still expected to pay the entire license fee for the year. There's still no word from excise in terms of, any kind of rebate for being closed for part of this period. And this is, it's just a complete lack of consideration for what our industry has already been through and what we're facing now. And I think the biggest issue for all of us is that there's no real logic behind what's happening. So, we're all, like Pankaj said, up for supporting the government and breaking the chain as is the goal here, but there has to be some rationale behind, these regulations that are being put in place. And that's what's hurting us the most.
So you're talking about a rationale that needs to be put in place. I just want to bring in Pankaj for a second here. Pankaj, what is your expectation from the government? What is it that you would like to tell the government at this point of time?
To treat us equitably as they do to other industries, to treat us with fairness. We are not seeing any liquor sales, so why should we have to pay for the liquor licenses? I think we're just asking for fairness, and I don't think that's too much to ask.
Just to give a sense of the entire industry, the Mumbai restaurant industry, there are 86,000 restaurants in Mumbai. As of 2019, the NRAI had published a report citing there are 86,000 restaurants in Mumbai, which is MMR, the Mumbai Metropolitan Region. 4.4 lakh workers are employed in restaurants in Mumbai. The unorganized restaurant market in Mumbai alone stands at 26,601 thereabout crore rupees. The organized market stands at 14,279 crore rupees. The total restaurant market in Mumbai stands at 40,880 crore rupees. Anurag, you are the president of the National Restaurant Association of India. We're talking about a large size of the restaurant industry, which stands at 40,880 crore Indian rupees as of 2019. What is the kind of hit that this market is going to take now, given the new set of regulations that have come in? And also, I just want to add that the deliveries after a certain point in the evening are not allowed, and that also somewhere takes a hit on your revenues.
So, honestly, if you look at the last notification by the government, it's basically saying shut out. Just shut off your restaurants. There is nothing else. A very polite way of saying. And I say that for a reason. You are restricting us to just the delivery business, that too till 8 p.m. Now, anybody will tell you in the industry that 75 to 80% of our business happens during dinner. And that time has been totally blanked out for us. What is the point of operating? Now, coming to the losses, please understand the whole sequence of event. Last year, we were the first industries to be shut down and last ones to be allowed to open. We were opened in October. We have been since operating with half the capacity, with full COVID protocols, restricted hours, and so on and so forth. October, November, December, Jan, Feb, the cases don't mount. In fact, they keep going down. The problem starts when you are compelled to open things like public transport, cabs, and stuff like that. And today, what you are doing is, when the cases have gone up, you are saying, okay, for obvious reasons, I can't shut down the trains and buses, so let me shut down the restaurants. Whereas there is absolutely no sense in doing that. It is like you have a bruise on your left hand and you're applying the balm on your right hand. It doesn't help. What does it do to us? There are two faces to it, Chaiti. There is dejection and disappointment of the business owners. And on the other hand, this time there is lots of angst and anxiety in our employees because they just came back from their villages, wherever they were. They started working again. And now again, they are worried about how to keep the kitchen fires burning for no fault of theirs. How is it fair when like Gauri was saying, film shoots are being allowed, all kinds of construction activities are allowed. Cabs can operate with 50% capacity, autos can operate. Are they more controlled than a restaurant? Absolutely not. And what is the rationale of...
About the control as well, Anurag, hold on your thought right there. Pankaj, if you could just quickly come in here, what are the kind of controls that the restaurants are following in terms of standard operating procedure? Because from the government side, they look at it as one of the spreaders of COVID. They want to limit social engagement and interaction, and hence these kind of decisions get taken. How do you respond to that?
So I think all structured restaurants were following very, very strict guidelines, ensuring that we are taking names down of every customer, temperature checks at every entry point, sanitization constantly between tables for our guests, shields and masks social distancing between tables, no standing crowd. I mean, the list goes on. All of this was being very, very carefully followed by a large majority of the restaurants. Does this happen at a train station? Does this happen at a bus stop? How do you control for that? How much of it is happening when in an industrial unit? These are questions that one must ask when these other industries are allowed to stay open, but we are not.
Right, Gauri, I just want to bring you in as well. Your fine dining restaurant Table in Colaba, I'm personally aware, is following all the protocols. And then, of course, the government comes down heavily on you. How do you feel about the government thinking that it is the restaurants who become the spreaders and everything else, including weddings and film shoots and everything under the sun, gets allowed?
I mean, it's heartbreaking to face our teams right now, and it like Anurag said, it's as good as saying please shut down. I think that this is almost absolving the authorities from their duties of vigilance. So if there are if there are sort of establishments that are flouting norms, then they should be hauled up. But that doesn't mean that you punish the entire industry for something like this, especially when, as Pankaj said, most of the establishments are following the norms. And therefore, we were actually getting people to come, diners were coming to the restaurant. So if all the restaurants were sort of not compliant, then diners wouldn't be coming. So the fact is that they were coming, it was, we were getting back on our feet, and then you get slapped with this. It's like tying your hands, both your hands behind your back and then saying, do a handstand. It's literally like that. And the other point that I'd like to make is that the bulk of our employees are in the age bracket of, under 45. Neither is sort of the vaccine being given to the younger age bracket, which just means that we aren't even able to do anything to actually support the government in breaking this chain. All we're being told is just shut your business. And the fact is that there is no logic for picking the restaurant industry to do that over all other aspects which are being allowed to continue operating. So it just seems like a lose-lose situation. Can't do anything to improve the situation, and neither can we operate our business.
Anurag, is there a question of survival of restaurants at this point of time? And is there an existential crisis that is going on in the hospitality industry on the back of all these directives that are coming in?
100%, Chaiti, 100%. We lost about 30% of the restaurants during the first lockdown. This one will be more severe if it continues for a few weeks. There is a very real specter of restaurants shutting down. We are not left with any resources to continue. There will be lots of shutdowns. Lots of entrepreneurial dreams will be shattered. Lots of jobs will be lost, and it will not help the nation in any way.
All right. Saransh Golia also is joining us. He's a celebrity chef from Mumbai. But before I go to him, let me get you a tally as far as the Mumbai COVID crisis is concerned. On 6th of April, 10,030 active cases. On 5th of April, you had 9,557 active cases. 4th of April, you had 11,163 active cases, and currently Maharashtra has the highest number of coronavirus cases, and hence at the moment what seems like is that the government is reacting to these numbers. Saransh, what is your take on this? At the moment it looks like the government is having a reaction to the numbers, to the rising number of COVID cases. Their justification perhaps would be we need to stop the spread as much as possible, and hence they've come down heavily on the restaurants. But how would you respond being a chef and somebody who owns a restaurant chain?
So Chaitali, my take on this is we understand government needs to do what they need to do. They're looking out for safety of all of us as far as the pandemic is concerned. But I think few rulings that they have done are very, very harsh on the hospitality industry, especially having limited delivery till 8 p.m. Is something that has really been frustrating, and none of us are being able to get around it. It's in fact a meme-worthy decision. I'm seeing memes floating all across Instagram that how is it logical to restrict us when it comes to food deliveries by 8 p.m. That is something that none of us have been able to explain. also to hold us so heavily accountable for the spread of the pandemic. It looks like we are the bad cops in this situation, and we are the first ones to get axed. And I think that's very, very unfair because, as my fellow restaurateurs would have already addressed, that it's actually after all the public services that came to life that the spread was much faster. And I do believe that if we are to be put into a full lockdown and if we are to shut restaurants, some planning is needed, some hope is needed for our industry where we are just.
So you think that the government should have consulted you first to understand what your worries are instead of unilaterally coming up with a decision like that? Were you as a fraternity consulted?
No, absolutely not. In fact, NRAI reached out to them on multiple occasions. They have been chasing the government to help us with small means like relaxation with taxes, or give us some time to break our fees down, help us with rents, help us with salaries. I have 35 employees who come from small villages, who withdraw a mere 25,000 rupees monthly. And those guys deserve an answer that if I'm not able to pay their salaries in May, what is going to happen to them is something that does not let me sleep at night, because I feel responsible for them, and I feel my government should also feel responsible for these people that we employ. We heavily employ people, about 4.5 lakh is not a small number within Mumbai itself. So what happens to the staff?
Yeah, and they have to live in Mumbai, which is the most expensive city in this country. Anurag, I saw your hand up when I spoke about the NRAI communication with the state government as well. You made multiple attempts to speak to them. What happened when you did that?
No, in fact, 2 weeks back, we had a meeting with the Honorable CM. A meeting was convened by him, and where it was generally accepted, there was a consensus that 90% of the restaurants are following the COVID protocols absolutely properly. They said what to do with 10%. And we had, in fact, offered our help that will form ward-wise, 24 wards in Mumbai, will form teams which will report back to the authorities if somebody is flouting the norms. And when you are talking about 90% of the restaurants observing the COVID protocols, then suddenly you shut down 100%, that is what beats the logic. I had written to the CM exactly on this on Thursday last. He responded on Friday that it is being looked into, and then Sunday the clampdown came. So I think somewhere I feel people are not realizing where the crux of the problem is. I mean, you look at an airline, all 6 seats of a row are filled. And that's a is very similar to a restaurant, controlled environment. Whereas the restaurant is operating with 50% capacity, but it is not allowed to operate. I don't understand this logic, to be honest.
Right. And
I think it's more for optics than anything else.
We've got 2 minutes for the show to wind up. I just want to bring Pankil in. Pankil, Mumbai is a city that never sleeps. It's known for the vibrancy attached to it. It's known for its restaurants, for the nightlife. You and I are both from Mumbai. We know the kind of vibrancy the city exudes as well. How do you think the lay of the land would change now? 2020 saw so many restaurants shut down, and now with this new order coming in, there'll be several more that will shut down. Is Mumbai and the lay of the land likely to change going forward with so many economic hardships restaurateurs like you have to face?
Chetty, that's a great question. In fact, Saransh and I were just discussing this beforehand, how Mumbai is the city of dreams. It is the dream of, so many people from around the country to come and establish their small businesses, like restaurants, like shops, like retailers. Has that sheen gone? Probably. I think, especially in a time like this, where we see no hope, when we see no support as an industry, that it certainly feels like that.
Right. We just hope that you are at least able to survive, all of you, taking the time out and joining us. We know it is a difficult time for all of you. Paying salaries is a big problem. The rents go on. There is no tax rebate. You have to pay your liquor license in full, and then your restaurants are not allowed to function. It is a real problem, viewers, that we're talking about. On your screens right now are the top Mumbai restaurateurs You're hearing it from the horse's mouth. With that, it's a wrap from me, Chaiti Narula. I thank you very much, Pankil, Anurag, Saransh, Gauri, for joining us. Up next.
Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.